everyone, it's Mish here and welcome to my channel. If you're new, thanks for stopping by, and if you are one of my crafty friends and kindred spirits, welcome. I'm glad you're here with me today. Today's going to be another day in the Daphne's Diary Gluebook journal we started almost a couple years ago now, and all the pages that you see here, I do have a tutorial for on the in the playlist Daphne's Diary Gluebook Journal. Just wondering, I thought that opened up. Not all the pages in the first journal are filled up because it was just getting too fat. So I had to create a second journal. And in the second journal, set this one aside here, I have the same amount of signatures, only less pages, so it hasn't become a really fat chunky monkey. And in this one here, we did more of the double spreads, which I'm really liking those double spreads. There's still a lot of interactive ones as well, which I love. And today's going to be just another, what's going to happen? We're going to do a layout with a journal card. I love that spins round. I love her. And I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put it. I'm soon going to have to do another journal. But I have cut out a card for background. And I do have a template here that I often use when I'm trying to figure out my layouts and stuff. And I did do that. So I've got this. I just took this from some pattern paper. I am still going to be using number 2, 2025. And the images that we're going to use, I've already started to cut some of the stuff out. We're going to use the poster. Got things all over the place here. We're going to use this great big poster, and what I cut from the poster is this little mouse who's parachuting from the sky. And at the very top of this poster was this bit of greenery. So from the poster, I've got these two images, and I'll set those aside. And then I cut out from page 8 and 9, this one here, I've cut out some red flowers. These were here and here and here. Now before I cut these out, I took some Scotch tape and I just put some tape on the back. So when I was cutting out that little stem where it's a bit fragile, it just gives it a little extra strength. So I've cut those two out. And we may come back to this pink one. I've already put a little bit of tape on the stem already, but I'm not sure if we're going to use that or not. The other thing that we're going to come back to this washi tape, and this page here had some border here, this green gingham stuff, which I've cut out some of that. And then the other thing that I cut a piece out was from these bottles. I've cut out a piece of this trim that I'm going to use. So those are the main things. I did cut out a butterfly as well, which came from page 9. So the butterfly was right there. So those are the things we're starting with. We may come back for more. And here's my background paper. So the first thing I was thinking that I was going to do is get down. Oh, I just want to double check that this, I always like to double check that it is the right size. So let's just say that it's going to go maybe here. And yeah, it's pretty good size. Okay. Right. So I'm going to just put this at the top, and I'm only going to glue the top, and I'm just using some Elmer's glue. But I'm just going to do the top and the side. I might have to put a little bit more there for later. And I'm only, oops, I've used too much there. This is just the glossy paper, and if you use a lot, it's gonna warp your page, your paper, and I don't want to do that. But what I do want to do is create a little tuck spot, because we're going to do a little journal card that's going to tuck into, here, that you can make some notes or do whatever you like. So for the journal card, I just cut just a piece of DigiKit I had, just some background paper that I had, but it has on both sides, and that's what we're going to use for that. But before I put that down, I want to have a little bit of trim at the bottom, and because I want this to kind of go under there but tuck down in there too, so that it's better. I'm just wondering, do I want, it seems a little bit longer, so I'll do it on this end. So I'm going to put a little bit down here and along the bottom, and then it's a little bit long, so I'm just going to put the glue there on the paper. Okay, and then we'll get that down. Okay, and then I'm just gonna cut that little overhang off. Okay, so there's our background, but I also want to put these flowers in just kind of on the background so that it's, I don't know, I just wanted it so that it wasn't completely plain. And with these, we're going to just, I'm going to put as little bit of glue as I can, but I want to glue them all down so that they're pretty stable. And that includes this little stem and the leaves. And this part of the stem here. It's a gorgeous day here in Halifax. I haven't had the windows open today, or the door, like the screen door, but I've had the big door open with just the storm door, and the sunlight has just been pouring in there. Chester was laying there on the floor in the sun, and he got a bit overheated, so I had to go give him a drink. And he drank and drank and drank. He drinks out of the bath. Well, I have a fountain, and he does use it, but he also, if he gets really thirsty, I don't know if he forgets he's got a fountain there, but he just sits there and cries, and I know I have to go in the bathroom and run the faucet in the tub, and he stands in the bathtub and drinks the drips from the bathroom. Okay, so there's our background, which I think is cute. I also, that little butterfly, which is here, I wanted to put kind of there. I'm thinking that I might like to do just a wee little bit of distressing, because it'll just make them stand out a little bit more from the background. Okay, and I'm only going to put a little bit of glue kind of in the center. So in the center there, then off the sides. Awesome. Okay, and then I think I'll just put him at an angle, because I think that's cute. And before I try to pull up the wings, I'm just going to let that glue stick. Okay, so I'm just going to set this aside for now. And I already cut a couple of these strips, and I think these are the right ones. Yeah, they're about 3/4 of an inch thick. And I think they'll be cute. And so I wanted to just get these down and then use some of the washi from the washi strips just as a little bit more of an accent. So I'm just going to try to line that up with the top there, like so. Make sure it goes right over. Okay. There we go. And then I'll just turn it over and round those corners. I find that the rounded corners for me, like I like when they're not rounded too, but it just makes it more, it gives it more of the feel of a journal card for some reason. And maybe it's because Project Life always would round the corners on their journal cards, like so. Okay. And then I'm just gonna do the same at the bottom. Just want to make sure I had the right side there. Isn't this fun? Just like cut and paste in kindergarten and school. Crafty parts of the day at school are always my favorite. I think that's why I liked physics in a way. Because physics, I was always drawing things like focal points and stuff like that. I always liked physics a lot. And algebra. I like drawing all the symbols and stuff. I liked trigonometry, but it didn't really make sense to me. I mean, I did quite well in maths, but I just couldn't figure out where I would ever need trigonometry. But okay, so then what I'm thinking with this is this will just slide in here. I'd have to put that down. And it will just sit in this little spot here underneath the leaves in the tree. So I think I can center that. I think that will work. So I'm just going to center Mr. Mouse. And I did not put Scotch tape on his tail, so I was afraid that his tail was gonna fall off. But I have this. Sometimes I have this PTSD about mice. I had a mouse in my house. I think it's been a couple years now. It wasn't last summer. And it just freaked me out. I mean, you know, it wasn't a rat, but it was just a mouse. But it was still like, Chester didn't know what to do with it. He went over and he got it and he picked it up kind of by the scruff of its neck. But then he didn't know what to do with it. He just sat there. That's so cute. Oh my God, that's so cute. All right, so then I was kind of thinking, move some of this stuff off the desk here, is take a piece of this washi, and I was kind of thinking this one here, but I don't want it as thick as this. So I'm kind of thinking, what if I try to measure about how much I'm going to need. So I'm going to need about this much here. About that much. And then what if I just cut this in half? So if I go right down this line of dots and see, I think the bottom strip might be a bit. Okay, and then if we take this off, I just wanted to give it a little bit of extra oomph without, yeah, like that. Without adding too much more image. Like I don't want to add a bunch of stuff there, like flowers and stuff like that, because I want the focal point. I can get this so that it's completely on. So that the little mouse is the focal point. Okay. So there, I think that kind of just sets that off. You can't really see on camera, can you? But to me, that just adds a little bit of extra dimension. And then we'll do the top piece. I knew I had to do something else, and that something else, oops, was think about a saying. Forgot to get my saying ready. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have that, and then I have a few things for embellishing, but we need to think about our saying. So I think I'm just going to take the easy way out, and, well, it might not be the easy way out because I can't find it, and use my Tim Holtz small talk, but I'm not exactly sure where that went. So I've got those, and those are tickets. Huh. I just had them here. Oh, here they are. Okay. Because I don't really think quality, peace, honesty, what's your superpower? Your only limit is your mind. Let's go back here. Your only limit is your mind. That might be a good one. Because who would have ever thought that you'd be seeing a mouse parachuting today? So, find what you would know. Quiet people, keep calm and wiggle on. Oh, this isn't the one I was looking for, but okay. This is called Clipping Sticker Book. And I haven't really looked at this one yet. Let's see. The air is full of sunlight. Let me see. Tell me where the unicorn is. My heart. She merely went on with life. This isn't what I was looking for. I do not know what happened. I don't really like these ones because they're more like just what it says here. They're more just like clippings from a story instead of a... How about this one here? Something good is about to happen. This is wee small though. Something good is about to happen. Let's put that about there. For sure, because I don't want to bore you guys with trying to, although I am quite perplexed over where, because I just had those out for another project. Do we need another saying? So that'll go right in there like that. Because you're not really going to see that until you take it out to write on the back. And on the back we could put another image of something. If you had another little image, or what I often like to do just as a bit of an embellishment is just take, this is my point 1, and then just do some wiggly lines all the way around just to give it a little decorative border. This is what I used to do a lot with toll painting. If any of you remember the toll painting craze in the late 80s, 90s. I used to love toll painting. I used to have a little workshop that I could go cut some wood, and I think for this one here I'm going to put little hearts in the corners. Why not? And we could write a nice little journal note here about something. There we go. Okay, so we've got a little journal card. We've got a little saying there. But I'm kind of thinking that actually we could even glue that right down and then just tuck it in the bottom. But I kind of like that it looks like he's fallen from the tree. Did you ever read the book The Borrowers? I remember that book. It was about, weren't they little mice that lived in the house? Stranger things have happened. Oh, I love that saying. And I'm going to put it right here because it might be strange that you're going to see a mouse parachuting today, but maybe stranger things have happened. I love that. Okay, so that's come together. So then I've just put a couple things here. So I've put my stickles here because I don't use my stickles enough. And I've also got some gems. So I thought that with the stickles, where can we put some stickles? So if you don't know what the stickles are, it's really just glitter glue. But I'm kind of thinking that I don't want too much dimension on these flowers because I'm going to have that journal card tucked in there. And the thing about the stickles is it dries, there's no dimension to it. It just dries flat. So I think that would be a good thing there. You just have to give it time. If you can see it shining there, you just have to give it time to dry. So I can't be tucking that in there until that's completely dry. I did pull out a few of the gems. I want to put one in there, but I was thinking I might put some little tiny pearls. So this one here, I'm not really sure where I got it, but it has many different sizes of pearls. And I think those are the smallest ones. I might have got this through Stampin' Up, I'm not sure. But I thought that it would look cute. Oops, that's come off. That's a bigger one. Do we need a big one? No, let's put it back. Let's stick it back on there. These little ones, and I got to be really careful I don't ping them across the room, I thought would look cute, and it will add some dimension if we stick them in those little flowers, like so. Oh, I love that already. So if we get those down. And we don't have to do every single one. But I'm going to do a few more. So I'm going to do this one because that's a nice big one. And then I do that one up there. And then I think I'll do that one over there. And we'll see how that looks. Yeah, I think that's cute. All right, and then we need a center for this guy. And I was kind of thinking one of these pink ones. Now these ones here are a Michaels one, and I do like that. You might think it's a little bit big, but I like it. So that's cool. Okay, and then let's just set that aside for a second. So then we need to, there's these wee little pink pearls. So I'm going to put that in the middle there. And then I've got roughly the same size of a white pearl. And I'm just going to, no, actually, I'm not going to put that there because it doesn't look good. So I'm just going to put another little mini one over here. So I think that'll look better. Kind of looks like two eyes. So I need to stick something else. How about a really light pink one? We can put that like maybe there. Or maybe here. Maybe there. Okay. So I think that's for the dimensional stuff. But then I just pulled out some of my glitter pens. So these are gel pens, but they're a bit glittery. So there's a pink one. And I thought I would just kind of outline some of these and his pink little feet and his pink little nose. He's kind of cute. All right. And then for the butterfly, I was going to do a little bit of, excuse my head if it gets in the way, just a little bit of outlining along there of the butterfly. And then we'll use some of this lighter one. Like so. Okay. Those are the pinks. And then there was this orange one that I kind of thought we could just highlight the edge of the butterfly down there. And then just do, this blends so well with these poppies that you can't even see that it's a different color, but what you can see is the sparkle. Okay, and I'll hold it up to the light and see if you can see that, but you probably can't. But you'd be able to see it if you were doing this at home too. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Oh yeah, you can. A little bit there. Okay, and then this color. Oh, that's going dead. I wasn't sure. I think I might have been wanting to use this with the butterfly too. And then of course, we got to get Stella out here. And if you don't know what Stella is, it's just an aqua writer, which means that it's water base with some glitter. And when this dries, when the water evaporates, you're just left with the glitter, but it's subtle. So this one is clear. You can get them. I've got the Nuvo ones where you can get them with the color. So I'm going to do the inside of his ears. And maybe his little hands and his eyes. His eyes to have a little bit of, oh, that's cute. A little bit of sparkle. And then on this side, I was just kind of thinking we'll do a little bit of the butterfly wings and maybe these flowers. We'll add some little sparkle to the flowers. See how that works out. A little bit on there. I love Stella. I've been using Stella for many, many, many years. I'll be sad the day you can't get it, because you can still get it. Okay, and then that just means, I don't know if you can see, but that parachute is glowing, isn't he? Look at his little eyes. He's so cute. And that is our page for today. So when I put it into the journal, which I'm going to wait until my stickles dry, then I think maybe we'll put it, where are we going to put it? I think we'll put it on, like here. I think we'll put it right there. I think that'll be cute. And then we have our little guy here, which is actually going to be the focal point. That's going to be covered up for the most part. So I hope you liked today's page. If you did, I'd love a like and consider subscribing. And until we meet again, I really do hope that you stay safe and well. And bye for now. Bye, Mousy.